Welcome to episode 65 of the Unstoppable Podcast with me, Dan J. Gregory. My name is Dan J. Gregory, and I am committed to hunting down the secrets of business mastery and human performance. My goal for the Unstoppable Podcast is to share insights from some of the most successful entrepreneurs, inspiring thought leaders, world-class athletes, and prominent celebrities to help you to become unstoppable in business and life. Each week I'll be bringing you a new interview with an inspiring person and sharing my own results as I pursue the answers to the question, how can I create the ultimate edge in my business, make a significant impact, and live an extraordinary life? Hello and welcome to episode 65 of the Unstoppable Podcast. Today's episode is all about the fascinating topic of mind hacking and optimizing mental performance to help you to get more done each and every day. Before we jump into this very exciting topic, let's recap what's been going on the podcast over the past 7 days. Last Thursday, I brought you Oliver Talamayan and we discussed how to build a high-ticket business and shared all of the marketing components that are necessary to attract high-paying customers. If you want tips on how to attract clients who pay high prices, then this episode is a must. Oliver revealed a lot of his closely guarded secrets within this episode, and he even told me after the show that he's never publicly shared some of the content that we discussed before, so you're in for a real treat. Then on Monday last week, I shared the side effects to thinking big and some of the mental processes that we go through when we set big goals. I analyzed some of the big thinkers of our time to understand the importance of thinking big and then shared 10 steps to help you think even bigger and help you achieve your big goals and dreams. Here's some news for you. I'm about to go absolutely wild in the Unstoppable Mastermind group on Facebook. It's a free group for the Unstoppable Tribe, you guys, the listeners. And I'm going to be laying down even more content to help you unleash your greatness and build your empire. So if you've not already joined, then pause this episode right now and go over to unstoppablepodcast.com/tribe or simply search for the Unstoppable Mastermind on Facebook to get involved. Right now, it's just a small group, but I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of personal attention in the group to help you to achieve your goals and dreams and help you become unstoppable in business and life. All right, let's kick it up a gear. Let's get into today's show. Today's episode is inspired by some of my own recent challenges. For some reason, recently I've been noticing that my short-term memory is really, really poor, to the point where I go to bed at night trying to recall my day and I start thinking about the meetings I've had and the things I've eaten during the day, and I can't even remember what I've had for lunch. See, I'm always looking to push myself to the limits and beyond, both mentally and physically, so hacking mental performance is something that absolutely fascinates me. Now, given advances in brain imaging technology, we now know that the brain is affected by every single experience, thought, and emotion. Brain stimulation can increase neuroplasticity, which is the ability of the brain to rewire itself, and neurogenesis, which is the formation of new nerve cells. So with technology increasing, all this awareness of how our brain works, there is so much to learn when it comes to enhancing our mental performance. And in creating this episode, I spent a significant amount of time immersed in the latest research, science, and studies. And I was initially shocked at what I found, but when I reflected upon what I discovered, it really did not come as a surprise what I found. You see, we're all looking for the big secret and the latest hack, but what I found is there is no specific prescription that works across the board for brain health. What I discovered is that all the experts, thought leaders, and scientists in the field of brain health right now are talking about 10 key pillars of mental performance. And I'm going to share each of these pillars with you today. So get ready for some actionable learning, buckle up, and get ready to hack your mind. Pillar number 1, work your body, work your mind. Now, I bet you didn't expect that. Exercise. In general, anything that's good for your heart and your body is good for your brain. Movement is healthy for the mind. I'm sorry, you're expecting some special hack, some special secret. But studies show that consistent aerobic exercise, things like jogging, fast walking, cycling, rowing, can all generate new cells and blood vessels in the brain and increase the brain's volume, and particularly in the areas of the brain that are involved in executive control, such as planning and working memory. And even last December, as recent as this, researchers at Boston University School of Medicine discovered that certain hormones which are increased during exercise may also improve memory. The researchers were able to correlate blood hormone levels from aerobic fitness and identify positive effects on memory function linked to exercise. And in another study, according to a study published in the Journal of Physical Anthropology, shows that physical exercise improves the flow of blood in the brain, thus enhancing functionality of various neurotransmitters involved in cognitive processes. All sounds very fancy, but it means that exercise is really good for your brain. And the same study also points out that exercise improves our mood, which may indirectly exert a positive effect on our cognitive performance and functioning. Feel good, operate well. Also, workouts stimulate the production of a muscle protein called FNDC5, we're getting technical, in our bodies, which stimulates the genes responsible for learning and memory. You know, I don't know, have you ever heard someone say that exercise is bad for you? You know, you think it's good for your energy and your body. Well, it's great for your brain. Other studies show the benefits of strength and interval training on mental performance. And neurosurgeon Larry McCleary, MD, check that out for a title, recommends at least 30 to 60 minutes of aerobic exercise 3 times a week, along with a mix of weight training and balance drills and interval training to really maximize the benefit for your brain. The message is quite simple. Work your body to work your mind. There is no right answer when it comes to what exercise is the best for your mind. Clearly, the aerobic exercise is going to pump the oxygen into your brain, but getting that right balance between what exercise works for you is what's most important. The exercise that you're willing to do is the best form of exercise. Pillar number 2, make sleep a priority. Scientists have known for decades that the brain requires sleep to consolidate learning and memory, and you will undo all the mental performance gains from your exercise if you do not get sufficient rest. A study from 2014 from the University of California in San Francisco found that an association between poor sleep quality and reduced volume in the same part of the brain that controls working memory and that executive function that we talked about being enhanced by exercise. So rest and sleep is really, really important. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Geneva found out that the connections between nerve cells in the brain are strengthened by sleep, which add to both learning and memory potential. And during their study, participants were taught new skills and shown images to test their memory, where one group was allowed to get 8 hours of sleep, whilst the other group was allowed to sleep slightly less. When they repeated tasks they learned from the previous day, it showed those who slept more naturally perform better. You see, during sleep, the brain firms up memories of recently acquired information, and getting enough sleep will help you to get through the full spectrum of nocturnal cycles that are essential to optimal brain and body function. So, sleep is necessary for our nervous system to work properly. It gives us power to recharge, and the downtime is required for growth and repair. So getting the right level of sleep is important, and I've done a lot of studies in this area when it comes to sleep. I did an entire study similar to this on energy production, and the answer was simple. You need to get between 6.5 and 8.5 hours of sleep per day. Anything more or less is detrimental, so shoot for something that works for you. Number 3, eat for the mind. Having talked about exercise and rest, it was not really going to be a surprise to you, I'm sure, or difficult for you to anticipate that what's coming next is nutrition. No hacks yet. This is all simple basics. Eating processed foods, junk food, dairy, white carbs, and products full of sugar are not only bad for your body and your waistline, they are bad for your brain. Poor nutrition can reduce blood flow to the brain and impair cognition. Now, according to an article published in The Economist, Dr. Fernando Gomez Pinilla, a professor of neurosurgery and physiological science, believes that appropriate changes to a person's diet can enhance his or her cognitive abilities, protect his or her brain from damage, and counteract the effects of aging. Now, we haven't talked a great deal about nutrition on the Unstoppable podcast, but this is an area where I have considerable expertise. I've spent a lot of time studying this area, and I'm obsessed with discovering what it takes to maximize our energy, vitality, and longevity. And it becomes as absolutely no surprise to me the exact same principles of good health when it comes to nutrition also apply to our mind. So number 1, eat a largely plant-based diet. Natural whole plant-based nutrition is rich in antioxidants and phytonutrients, which provide a healthier and more effective source of fuel for the body and mind. The Mediterranean diet has actually been studied and shown to have specific brain healthy functions because it focuses on a high intake of fresh vegetables, fruits, unsaturated fats, a low intake of dairy products, and a moderate intake of fish and other proteins. Number 2, eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Research suggests that inflammation compromises proper blood flow and brain functionality. Every organ in our body depends on proper blood flow, especially this thing in our heads called the brain. In incorporating anti-inflammatory foods into your diet, such as berries, green leafy vegetables, and even dark chocolate, can counteract inflammation. The nutrients in berries, for example, are linked to enhanced learning, thinking, and memory, and the anti-inflammatory properties and antioxidant-rich berries like blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries have been shown to improve memory and our ability to learn. So, these high-quality foods are not only good for our body, but they're good for our mind. You can also spice things up with turmeric, garlic, and ginger. All of these have been shown to be powerful anti-inflammatory agents. And Dr. Andrew Weil has done some amazing work on the anti-inflammatory food pyramid, which I've studied previously. So check out the show notes for a link to that. Number 3, no surprises here, avoid junk foods and processed foods. Junk foods and processed foods typically contain sugar, trans fats, refined and hydrogenated vegetable oils, and refined white flours, all of which cause inflammation, which we now know is bad for our brains and our body. So we need to eliminate or drastically reduce the consumption of these food types. This isn't about going hardcore, super vegan, super vegetable-only diet if that's not for you. It's about making it work and reducing these nasties in your diet and increasing the good stuff in your body. And you can just do it on a gradual stage basis. These types of foods, by the way, the junk foods and the processed foods, also cause havoc for our gut. And I've never talked about gut health on the Unstoppable podcast, but I was diagnosed in 2005, I believe it was, with Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel condition. Not nice. I was in hospital for 3 solid weeks, nil by mouth, one of the most harrowing experiences of my life, strapped to wires and tubes just to feed me. Almost a near-death experience. Some of my blood levels were haywire. They were crazy. So I know a little bit about the importance of gut health. And by the way, I believe I've conquered that supposedly lifelong condition through the principles of good health and nutrition. But what I know is the gut plays an enormous role in our overall health and well-being. So when it comes to mental performance, quite simply, our gut health can impact our brain function, psyche, and behavior, as they are interconnected and interdependent in a number of different ways. Your gut bacteria are an active and integrated part of your body, and as such, they are heavily dependent upon your diet, and they are vulnerable to your chosen lifestyle. So if you consume a lot of processed foods and sweetened drinks, for example, your gut bacteria are likely to be going to be severely compromised, because processed foods in general will destroy the healthy microflora in our gut, and sugars of all kinds feed bad bacteria and yeast in our gut. There is a close connection also between abnormal gut flora and abnormal brain development, and just as you have neurons in your brain, you also, believe it or not, have neurons in your gut, including neurons that produce neurotransmitters like serotonin, which is also found in your brain and linked to mood. So the message is simple. Look after your body, your gut, and your mind by cutting out the crap. Eat more of the good stuff, eat less of the bad stuff. You don't have to be militant. You can still enjoy life. Just focus on the principle. Whenever I look at food, I look at it, the label, I think, is this going to make me more vibrant and energetic, or is it going to clog me? Is it going to clog me, or is it going to cleanse me? It makes a simple choice. But I still enjoy treats here and there, but the message is simple. Look after your body, gut, and mind, cut out the crap, and you're going to feel a lot better. Number 4, hydration. We talked about nutrition. What about water? Let's go to common sense corner here. The human brain is made up of about 85 75% water. And from this very fact alone, given the water density in our brains, we can assume that staying well hydrated is an important component when it comes to increasing our mental performance. So one of my favorite things to do to start my day is to have 500 milliliters of cold lemon water first thing in the morning. This helps not only to hydrate me, but also to alkalize my body. So it's a double win. In fact, it's actually a triple win because being well hydrated also keeps you fuller for longer and helps stave off those sugar pangs that some of us experience, so you can stay focused on your vegetables and crushing life. Nutrition is important, but hydration is equally up there. And by the way, if you're ever thirsty, then this also means that you're already way past being dehydrated. Thirst itself is not the first outward sign of dehydration. So you're going to want to shoot for 2.5 to 3 liters minimum of water across the day for optimal brain function. And there is no hack here. You can't wake up in the morning and down 3 liters of water. That's probably not very good for you or very healthy. You have to space it out. This is spaced intervals. One of the things I do is I use specific cups and mugs that allow me to measure how much I'm having on a day-to-day basis, so I can be sure that I'm hitting that minimum standard of 3 liters per day. Number 5, we've talked about exercise. I'm going to talk about cross-training for your brain. It turns out that variety really is the spice of life. And in terms of brain health, this is particularly important. Lead researcher Denise Park on the University of Texas at Dallas says, it seems it is not enough just to get out and do something. It's important to get out and do something that is unfamiliar and mentally challenging and that provides broad stimulation mentally and socially. So when you're inside your comfort zone, you may be outside of the enhancement zone. According to research, it's vital to constantly step out of your comfort zone and regularly break your routines and purposely seek variety, adventure, and new challenges in order to stimulate our mind. So, if you're a chess player, for example, then you're going to have to take up hiking. You're going to have to create some variety in your lifestyle. So it's about breaking that. The thing that pains me here is I spend a lot of time working with clients and here on the podcast talking about building habits. But I can relate to this. So I can relate to the need for variety, and I can relate to the importance of it. You know, having been a regular gym goer now for many, many years, I know that if I continue to do the same workout week in, week out, my muscles will plateau. You know, my growth will plateau, my energy will plateau. So variety is what creates change in the body, and the same is for our mind. So if you do a lot of physical activities, then perhaps learn another language, do something different. Variety is key to stretch our mind. Another study published in July 2013 found that reading books, writing, and participating in brain-stimulating activities may preserve memory. Neuroscientists discovered that reading a novel can improve brain function on a variety of levels by challenging your brain to keep up with the different plots and characters that are within the story. That's a strong message to me. I don't know how many novels I've read in the last 12 months. I can definitely count it on less than one hand. You know, one of the best novels I've read recently, Shantaram, that was a real epic. I really enjoyed it, and I can really see how reading novels will stretch and expand your mind and expand your creativity. So that's something I'm going to take personally to heart. If you've got any recommendations, by the way, do send them in. I'll be really intrigued. I'm totally out of touch with the world of novels and fiction. Now, a lot of listeners are physically active already, which is great, which, as we've discussed, is extremely important for brain health. But consider challenging your body and your brain by mixing up your exercise routines. Do something you haven't done in a while. As I've just said, I mix up my routines probably every 4 to 5 weeks to keep it fresh. So every little routine that you've got in place, where can you mix it up? Where can you create variety? Where can you challenge yourself? Where can you create new adventure? Variety is as healthy for your brain as it is for your body. Pillar number 6, challenge your mind. One of the most simple methods to boost your brain function is to keep on learning. The size and structure of neurons and the connections between them actually change as you learn. So be an avid student of your craft. Become an expert in your field. Keep on learning. Your own personal learning and growth can take on many forms above and beyond books, to include activities like traveling, learning to play a musical instrument, or speaking a foreign language, or taking on a new sport or hobby. And in addition to learning, you can challenge your brain with mind training exercises and brain games to keep your brain fit. Brain games and certain puzzles and brain teasers help to create new associations between different parts of the brain, which keeps us sharp. This could take the form of something as simple as doing puzzles, Sudoku, or logging into one of the many online brain games or apps. I've just signed up for Lumosity, which has over 70 million members now and tons of different activities. However, do be warned, brain games do have their critics due to the short-term gains that are experienced. It's been stated that becoming more proficient at a game like Sudoku does not necessarily make you smarter, it just makes you more proficient at Sudoku. So the key, as before, is to keep your brain on its toes by using the principle of variety. Keep leveling up the challenge, keep doing different things. You could even go old school and pull out the board games to get you thinking, or in my case, get the competitive spirit fired up. I was playing a game at the weekend and got really into it. It really does fire up the competitive spirit. Either way, it will get the neurons firing. There are enough things to learn, read, play, and do in the world to keep you entertained and to keep your brain challenged. And the key thing here is, though, do not let the games get you distracted from what's important. Pillar number seven is focus. It's been said that the greatest power of the human mind is its ability to focus on one thing for an extended period of time. Better concentration and focus makes life easier and more productive and more fun. So it's not surprising that preliminary research suggests that maintaining focus might help to build new brain tissue. One of the worst things you can do for concentration and focus is to multitask. Multitasking can take a toll on the brain. A study showed that when people try to juggle two different tasks at once, a bottleneck actually occurs in the information processing in the brain. The part of the brain that's involved in decision making delays one task until the other is complete. Another study by researchers at the University of California in LA showed that people learn more effectively in a distraction-free environment. Not surprisingly, their ability to recall how to do the task at a later date was much better when they learned it in a distraction-free environment. So overcoming distractions is key, focus is key, create a distraction-free environment and eliminate physical and mental clutter. It may seem common sense, but common sense is rarely common practice. Simple things like switching off notifications on your phone or turning your phone on silent, as an example, can help you stay more focused, as can taking regular breaks. And also find your perfect sound environment. Not everyone responds in the same way to sound. Some people need complete silence, whilst others need music, and others concentrate better with the background buzz of the coffee shop. Classical music, especially Mozart and the Baroque music genre, is often cited as the top brain-boosting music. And the Johns Hopkins School of Education has actually compiled a list of the best music to increase concentration and memory. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you to find out more. Now, having just talked about the power of focus and the importance of working on one single task at a time to maximize your cognitive power, I'm now going to throw a real spanner in the works. Researchers have also found that those who allow themselves to drift off and daydream actually perform better on memory-related tasks and appear to have greater cognitive performance. What researchers believe is that allowing your mind to take a break from cognitive tasks and to simply think about whatever you want for a while will allow your mind some much-needed rest. They also stress that constant attempts at multitasking wear out your brain and make it more difficult to process things. So whilst focus is very important, so is taking regular breaks and making time for thought. Just thinking about thinking is a useful activity, so allow yourself to daydream. In light of this, failure to take breaks, rest, and give yourself time to think is a primary cause of pillar number 8, one of the most damaging forms of mental performance. Number 8 is stress. Number 8 is to manage stress. Neuroscientists have long recognized that chronic stress and the associated high levels of cortisol can damage the brain. Stress results in the release of a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol actually causes inflammation and has been shown to be toxic to the nerve cells in the brain and can actually kill brain cells. Chronic stress may also deplete the body of nutrients that are critical to brain health, and to top it all off, chronic stress can cause memory loss and trigger long-term changes in brain structure and function, which can lead to overall cognitive decline. Now, many relaxation techniques and coping strategies are available to counteract the negative impact of stress, and given the above, any form of stress management techniques is a good one. In the same way that the best form of exercise is the one that you'll do consistently, the same does apply to stress management. And personally, this is an area I've struggled with for a fairly long time. I do put my body and mind under a lot of stress, and I have to get better in this area. Firstly, in terms of my planning and structuring, a lot of this is self-inflicted stress, which is crazy. And my memory has been suffering lately, and I can be relatively confident that it's down to this one area of overwhelm, stress that I put myself under, trying to, as I said on social media recently, trying to catch up for the last 7 years. I made the decision as a 25-year-old to become an entrepreneur. I didn't execute on becoming an entrepreneur until age 29, and even then when I did, it took me a couple of years to get rolling. So now age 32, I'm trying to catch up for the last 7 years. So I do put myself under a lot of pressure, which does naturally cause a lot of stress. I've got the other 8 steps that we've talked about so far down pretty well, but stress management is a different story. So I'm going to do a whole segment on stress management on one of my daily DG shows, which is my daily Facebook live show, by the way. So be sure to like my Facebook page and subscribe to my live feed to receive notifications of the daily DG. But some of the things that you and I could try to manage stress are things like yoga, meditation, deep breathing techniques, and massage, all of which I've had a very positive experience with before. Meditation once took a prime place in my morning routine, but it's taken a backseat to longer workouts. So it's time for me to reverse that decision and bring it back. And in fact, over the last couple of days, I've spent some amazing time in meditation. I live here overlooking the river, and I've lived in this place for nearly a couple of years now. And I always look forward to sitting on the balcony and meditating in front of the water. And I never did it until just the other day. And it was a really powerful experience. Meditation offers a brain boost. In addition to lowering stress, it's been shown to increase cerebral blood flow and activate certain parts of the brain to improve concentration, focus, and mood. All sounds good to me. Researchers at the Massachusetts General Hospital conducted MRI studies of people who regularly practice meditation, brain scans, and they found that compared with control subjects, those who practice meditation had more gray matter, i.e. brain cells, in areas associated with attention and sensory processing. So there's plenty of proven scientific benefits, not only in terms of reducing stress, but in terms of cognitive performance when it comes to meditation. I've also recently read about a different type of meditation called Kirtan Kriya. It's a type of meditation that takes just 12 minutes a day, and it's been shown to enhance genetic health and decrease depression and inflammation markers, scientifically proven. So I'm going to be giving this a go this week. So check out the links in the show notes at danjgregory.com/65 to find out more about that specific type of meditation. Now, yoga is something I have learned to enjoy. It has been proven to lower cortisol levels and reduce chronic stress. And, when you look at the people who regularly practice yoga, they have this aura of calm and serenity about them. I certainly don't have that. I've got a terrible predicament when it comes to the flexibility of my body. I'm 6'1" and very limb orientated. So every time I've tried yoga, I've ended up with more stress than before I started, but I have mastered some of the moves. And when I moved apartment at the beginning of the year temporarily, when I came back from traveling, I practiced yoga every day whilst I didn't have a gym, and I really did enjoy the benefits. But some of the moves did cause more stress. Nonetheless, it's definitely a proven form to help you reduce stress and improve your cognitive performance. And it may take time to find the right fit for you and your lifestyle when it comes to stress management, your personal preferences and such, but don't give up. I know it'll be well worth the effort. So consistency is king. Find something that you're going to do and do it well. Pillar number 9, get social. In February 2014, the professor of psychology from the University of Chicago presented findings which identified that the health consequences of feeling lonely can trigger psychological and cognitive decline. We've all seen the horror films of people who spend far too much time alone. There's a reason for it. The research found that feeling isolated from others can not only disrupt sleep, but elevate your blood pressure, increase the stress hormone cortisol that we talked about previously. It can alter your gene expression, your immune cells. It can increase depression and lower your overall mental well-being. Now, all of these factors conspire to disrupt optimal brain function, connectivity, and reduced cognitive function. On the contrary, people who have a rich social network, who have a clear purpose in life, have been shown to have increased mental well-being and a decreased incidence of mental health conditions such as Alzheimer's. So the key here is to get together with your friends and do something meaningful, and to do it at an increased frequency. Those positive experiences that you create with others are really, really important. Connecting with other people is massively important for brain health and mental well-being and mood. Pillar number 10, the final pillar. There is no miracle smart drug like the movie Limitless. However, there are supplements that can help your mental performance. Pillar number 10 is the field of nootropics. Nootropics are sometimes called smart drugs. They're a classification of cognitive enhancement supplements that are reported to have a wide range of beneficial effects, from accelerating mental processes to promoting brain health. The word nootropics comes from the word nous, meaning the Greek word nous, meaning mind, and tropion, meaning towards, and are intended to safely improve cognitive functioning. These supplements also have very few unwanted side effects and are well tolerated by healthy adults. Taking nootropics is said to improve memory, learning capacity, motivation, attention, focus, concentration, and more. So everything we've talked about today is based upon fundamental principles that will enable you to create long-term mental performance gains. But I guess this is where the hacks people are looking for are coming from. Most nootropics are derived from things known as neurochemicals and have, in some cases, gone under extensive testing and research. And the investigation of the effectiveness of the overall industry of these supplements is ongoing, but the industry is already reported to be worth billions. But do they actually work? There are certainly many out there who remain skeptical, but there are also lots of pleased customers out there who turn to nootropics to get their fix, to get their mental performance enhanced. The challenge is the industry is largely unregulated and therefore largely untested, so it's a bit of a minefield. And it's a new area for me, and it's so much of a minefield that I'm not actually going to go any further on the topic of nootropics in this episode, at least not much further. But if you do go on to check out nootropics yourself, and it's spelled Nootropics, that's Nootropics, then do so at your own risk, and please consult a qualified medical practitioner to help advise you. I am, however, extremely interested in this subject, and I will be hunting down the most informed experts to help me navigate this complex world of brain supplements and nootropics, and I will be bringing these experts to the show on the Unstoppable podcast to explore this further with you. It does sound extremely fascinating, but I've got a note to add on the field of nootropics at the end of this, which I'll add on. But there are 5 supplements that I've had at least some experience of using, all of which are still known as nootropics by definition. I'm going to share those 5 with you now. Number 1 is omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 are healthy fats which are positively associated with brain function. According to Dr. Andrew Weil, experts believe that omega-3 supplements improve the health of brain cell membranes, allowing greater communication between cells. In fact, deficiencies in omega-3s have been linked to increased risk of various brain and mental health disorders, including ADD, attention deficit disorder, dyslexia, and depression. And there are huge discrepancies in the quality of omega-3 supplements, so please do your research. I'm currently using a blend created by Udo's Choice. Omega-3 is not naturally produced in the body, so if you're not getting it from food, then supplementation is really, really important. Number 2, vitamin D, otherwise, aka sunlight. One recent study investigating vitamin D and cognitive function found that the lower your vitamin D levels, the more negative your performance is on mental tests. Another study found that people with lower vitamin D levels have slower ability to process information, especially in older people. There are actually receptors for vitamin D in the central nervous system and in the memory and spatial recognition regions of our brains. And in these areas, vitamin D not only protects neurons, but also regulates enzymes in the brain, those enzymes which are involved in neurotransmitter synthesis and nerve growth. So this is an important aspect of brain health. This is all technical talk for vitamin D being good for your brain. So we should get most of the vitamin D we need from the sunlight. So get outdoors during the day. I personally schedule in at least 3 walking breaks per day to ensure I get enough natural light and vitamin D. I don't supplement vitamin D at this point. But if you do struggle to get enough natural light or feel that you have a deficit, then your supplementation may help you. Number 3, alpha lipoic acid. Alpha lipoic acid, also known as ALA, is a fatty acid that can protect neurological decline with age. It's an extremely powerful antioxidant, and its ability to fight oxidative stress is many times more potent than most common antioxidants such as vitamin C or vitamin E. Alpha lipoic acid can easily cross the blood-brain barrier, which is a wall of tiny vessels and structural cells that protect your brain, and pass easily in the brain to have these neuroprotective effects. So it's a really powerful supplement. I have used these in the past. I'm not currently using them. But again, with all supplements, do your research, consult a professional first before using them. Number 4, acetyl L-carnitine. I've used this as part of my kind of workouts routine in the past. This supplement plays a variety of roles within your brain, such as increasing alertness, improvement to cell energy production, neurotransmission support. This particular supplement, acetyl L-carnitine, can help with depression symptoms and mood. I'm not currently using this particular supplement. I try to get sufficient supply from food. If you Google the top sources of L-carnitine, you'll find the different sources. Unfortunately, for those of you who are vegetarians, most of them are meat-based. But if that's a struggle for you, there are high-quality supplements out there. Number 5, coffee. 100 milligrams of caffeine, close to the amount you'll get in 1 cup of black coffee, has been proven to improve memory recall. Caffeine actually blocks a receptor in your central nervous system that is responsible for binding a compound called adenosine. When you inhibit adenosine, you increase activity of dopamine and glutamine, which are 2 feel-good alertness increasing brain stimulating compounds. And researchers have the belief that caffeine will help you focus and help improve nearly everything associated with intelligence, increased reasoning and reaction time. However, it's also important to note that more caffeine is not necessarily better, since higher doses may actually decrease blood flow to your brain, and you can quickly build up a tolerance, and it's particularly acidic in the body, which is never very good. Caffeine does not make you smarter on a permanent basis, but it will temporarily make your brain work more efficiently until you crash, of course. If you have too much, then you're going to burn out, so don't rely on it. I personally grab 1 strong black coffee every single morning and cap it at that. It's important that you choose fresh coffee from Arabica beans and not coffee powders, because poor quality coffees are high in specific toxins, which will actually have an adverse impact upon your mental performance. Now, I want to summarize the major learning that I've taken from all of this research, and that is, if you focus on looking after your overall health and well-being, then there really is no secret or hack that will bring you enhanced mental performance. The first 9 of the 10 pillars are the fundamentals of great health, and by focusing on the fundamentals, you give yourself the edge. Why? Most people are looking for the shortcuts. I encourage you to be one of the few who master the basics. Lead a balanced life, move your body, eat well, manage your stress, love deeply, focus on your mission, and have fun. You'll have everything you need to grow your mental performance. Whilst the area of nootropics is very, very interesting, and I'm indeed fascinated by these new supplements, they are themselves supplements. And the very definition of the word supplement is a thing added to something else in order to complete or enhance it. There are no shortcuts. The supplements may multiply the effects of the fundamentals. However, if the fundamentals are not present, then you are multiplying by a factor of 0 and you're not going to get any increased performance. So I hope you have found this episode extremely useful and informative and actionable. And I hope that you'll choose to be a master of the 9 principles and live those core principles with me. Now, before we sign off, I want to remind you to join the Unstoppable Mastermind group on Facebook. So head over to unstoppablepodcast.com/tribe to get involved. I would also be extremely appreciative if you'd kindly share this episode on your social media channels and networks to help me to help more people to become unstoppable in business and life. I'll be back with another great guest this Thursday, but until next time, thank you for listening today. Go out there, unleash your greatness, build your empire, make your impact, and live your ultimate life. You are unstoppable.